action. All right, welcome to our show. We are on episode 7, season 18. Here with a recap and our perspective of this episode.
Yes, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Nate. And together we are Great.
We're a married couple. We like to review this show and just like the psychology of relationships. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Yeah.
They're back from the honeymoon. They're going to each other's homes where they live and just looking at it, and also packing so that they can move into their new dwelling quarters, because throughout the experiment, they're going to be living in shared living quarters for 8 weeks. So they're doing a little bit of that. And they also get a visit from the experts, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, and Dr. Pia. So,
Pia makes an appearance.
Yeah, she does. So we're going to go into that. So let's start with Carla and Juan. Okay, so we see them first. Carla's saying that her lease ended right as she was getting married at first sight, so she doesn't actually have a home to show Juan right now. And so, yeah, he hasn't seen her own place. And, as they're, showing them driving to his place, she comments on how if he can calm down, if he's ever able to calm down from his fun-loving nature. Like she thinks he's high energy and doesn't really know how to chill. Is that what you see from him?
Yeah, like when they come around, he shows her his apartment. These are some of my favorite episodes too, where it's kind of like Cribs on MTV Cribs, yeah. Where they come back, they see all their swag or lack of swag, yeah, and just show off where they come from. Because I feel like it really is an outward expression of like who they are. Like you get to see the things that they value, what they put on the wall, and how they live, what their habits are, things like this. So I feel like this is when we go to Juan's apartment, like you could see like he's got a lot of high energy. Sorry, what was the question again?
Basically, yeah, does he have high energy?
He has very high energy. Yeah. He's an entrepreneur and a couple of other things, and I feel like he's always on the go, like trying to sell something or talk or have a good time. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like around the room, they were looking at some of his things, and he was showing off this Buddha, which I feel like it was important. He pointed it out. It's like because it's always happy, it's always laughing. It's like. So I feel like that reflects a little bit of him with his lifestyle and just his drive to like always be at like this level. Yeah.
He had a very eccentric home. Like
yeah,
everything is like a drywall cart for the TV, like the Buddhas, a hammock, TV stand, and just really odd like shaped bar stools. I just like how is that ergonomic? I don't know.
It's like it was a drywall cart or something. It looks like he stole it from Home Depot and then put a TV on it.
Yeah.
But honestly, like most guys, like when I was single, I probably wouldn't fine with that. But like with Carla, who has higher expectations, she was a little taken aback by that.
Yeah, she said she wanted to give it a woman's touch.
Yeah.
And she also had commented on the fact that she used to live with a guy before, and that she wanted to maintain. She didn't really have a lot of say, so she wants to kind of maintain her agency and say. And also, they say at the end of this that they will live in his house. So that's cool. They're talking about the future, I guess. And she doesn't have a place, so it does make sense for him to say, hopefully, Carla will get to put her touch on it so that she feels like it's her home as well.
I think that was a good thing on her part. Like she surrendered to the process. She didn't like care to like set up like a safety net.
Yeah.
She probably was fine financially anyways,
yeah.
but like she really went in head first without setting up like any kind of backup in case things backed out. She had to back out of the relationship or whatever. So I think that's a good thing on her part.
Yeah.
But on his part, I was a little surprised too, like because there was he was already renting out his place to someone else.
Oh yeah,
he was subletting it.
Well, he needed to. He has to pay like $10,000 to all his people that he's starting the business with. But it's just so funny. I was like, do you need $10,000 to pay all these people for your app to meet people at the airport? But I guess I don't know what goes all into that.
If anything, this show might help get him to get off the
well,
ground.
that
a little
is
bit more.
10,000. So I think you get 10,000 or something like that. So it's like that's one
Break
month.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beyond that, they do have a visit from Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal. Dr. Pepper, I forget who mentioned something first, but they kind of let them speak first, and they share about. Carla starts first about feeling that she needs for Juan to be more mindful, which can mean anything really. And to like focus on the emotional connection. And she harped back to on the honeymoon where he was spending time with David. And then he I think if he said it differently, it would have been fine. But he said, for a moment, I actually forgot you were there. And that really pushed her in the wrong direction. Yeah. So that was the jumping point for their conversation with Pastor Carl and Dr. Pepper. And Carla expressed then, and also again with them, that she wanted to feel like a priority, and that he was putting her there first. I don't think it was a problem that he was chilling with David. It's just his wording, I think, and this is timing with
like they're on their honeymoon. They don't really know each other yet, and it's like the perfect opportunity to know each other. I'm surprised that that they even were okay with like taking a day away, like from each other when everything's just so new. Like they didn't even know each other at all before they got married. So they also show that or they observe, because the experts are always clued in on everything, that the physical affection has decreased. And Juan says he feels uncomfortable, or he kind of toes the line, like, or pendulum swing between feeling like maybe a little vulnerable, but then sometimes uncomfortable. Then the experts suggest if acts of affection to build care, like holding hands and sharing desires. And Juan, what he needs from Carla is more tolerance and fewer assumptions. Carla wants from him more mindfulness. I guess it just means making her like a priority, not like forgetting about her. And Pastor Cal basically says, like, you guys have a good foundation, just don't screw it up. I was like, okay. So yeah. I mean, I feel like they're one of the better couples. Like, I know that they have those communication issues, but like in terms of like chemistry, it feels like they're probably at one of the better chances of making it. So
yeah, like you could tell there's, like you're saying, there's chemistry, and we've talked about this before too. And like his hesitancy about being intimate, like physically, has come from his past where he did that too quickly, and it affected his judgment. Yeah,
but part of me also wonders, I don't want to be like double standard or something like that, but I always feel like guys are like a lot more willing to like want to jump into that intimacy. And I think it's interesting that he doesn't want to hop into it. And I'm just like, so it made me like, one thought in my head was like, maybe he doesn't want to be because not attraction or something. He has said he's attracted to her, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I think that comes too with like, this is like, there's so much publicity on that, and I feel like maybe that's, he's just trying to keep it clean, because his family is probably watching this.
No, you can't. Don't pull what's his name, an Ike. My mom was watching this.
Oh yeah. Oh, not
okay.
Ike. Yeah.
Let's go to the next person. Okay, so the next couple
is Madison and Alan. So they left on a weird note where Madison went out with her girls. And he was left in the hot tub on his rooftop.
The first night
back from the honeymoon. How would you feel if I did that to you?
Like that you went out with your friends on the first night we were back home? Yeah, I feel the type of way about it. I also feel like, be like, are you embarrassed to me? I feel like maybe she's embarrassed to him because, I don't know, to not bring him along. It's just, and they stayed out till like 1 a.m. Like, it doesn't really feel like it's starting out well. But,
But we did see in the beginning, like they were talking about things that he could work on to make her feel more attracted to him. One of those two things being him working out going to the gym, being like a gym person like she is.
Yeah.
And the other one was working on his style. But we see when we cut to her coming home and them having that conversation, we see he is working out. Like he's putting the dishes, he's taking the dishes out from the cabinet. You know, it's above the shoulders, so that's like he's working his muscles. Yeah, the mugs. And that did seem to impress her.
I don't know about that.
No, but seriously though, he is. You could tell he is putting in the effort. Like he's in the week that they've been back, he reflects on having gone 4 times to the gym, and so he's putting in the effort. In terms of style too, we kind of see he's toned it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I feel like he is too graceful with her. Like, he even starts the conversation when she comes home. Like, I'm not mad, I'm not this, I'm not that.
Yeah.
He just starts saying that things that he's not, because I think he knows how it might come across if he doesn't like full. Because like you were saying, that could be chaotic to jump into that. But he's a little bit more laid back about it, and that seems to be good for her to see.
Yeah.
But yeah. What and then they kind of pivot the conversation to just their day, and that seemed pretty seamless. So they spend their day. If you want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So I don't actually remember about their day. I know that Alan jokes about like a hoopty, and she's like, "What's a hoopty?" And they like bond over that or laughter or things like that. And they actually show that his hoopty is actually this nice white sports car. So
I couldn't tell what kind.
Yeah, I don't know what kind it was, but I'm sure he was like proud to show that off. It's like, and I'm sure maybe, Madison would want to be seen with that. So that's cool. And then Alan also brings his energetic dog, Luffy, which Madison seems to like despite the chaos. It seems like he's like, he's a male dog. He has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's neutered yet. So
he's getting friendly with the pillows.
Yeah.
Things like this. Tearing things apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then jumping on to their visit with Pepper and Cal, Madison says she feels more natural living with Alan, but struggles with romantic and physical chemistry. The experts emphasize on focusing on love capacity and shared growth. So yeah, I don't really remember like a huge like stand out, thing from what the experts said for them. But I think also that Madison says that she doesn't want to change him, but also, sometimes those little things, if they can be beneficial, then they could be good. So I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah, they talk like that's true. Like you don't want to have to change the whole person, but but it's a positive thing if someone wants to change in order to meet someone in the middle.
Yeah.
That's not a negative thing to like have to compromise. And it's not changing your whole personality.
Yeah.
Like in other ways, which could be really toxic, but not in small bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing they talk on is just their religious background and what it means to bring up kids in that kind of place. Of the two, Alan his parents are a little more religious, so but it doesn't seem like he is. He has that expectation that he'll raise kids in that kind of environment. Whereas Madison is a little bit more. She doesn't really want to raise them in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
Wants to have for them to have the choice.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're talking about the future, which is positive, and it's just that little by little growing in the capacity for love that, before they get there, they need to still make those steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was this? We wrote this.
Oh yeah. It's like another thing is that when they're talking to the experts, he playfully commits to fitness because he's talking about how he went to the gym 4 times in the last 3 days, and he's like, if I keep it up like this, I'm gonna be Adonis. So he's just a funny guy, and the experts can laugh at that. So hopefully Madison sees that. But yeah, I don't know, I think it'll probably take a lot more than what we're seeing now, but hopefully time will tell, and maybe they'll grow into.
Yeah. She was surprised by his apartment. That was more well kept than she expected.
Yeah,
And then
he
has
like
a nice
redid the
car,
kitchen. He like redid. I don't know if he redid the kitchen or if he like moved things, but it looked nice.
Yeah. Which is a little bit different than how when David and Michelle are taking their tours of their places. It's a very different experience.
Yeah.
We skipped ahead. Maybe we just stick here.
Okay. All right.
So we'll go back to the other couple, but speaking of Michelle and David, Michelle admits that the relationship isn't going well. She still doesn't have the physical attraction to David, but it seems there's definitely something more than just the physical thing, because she's repeated several times that she just his lifestyle is very different than anything she expected. But then the editors, they kind of put her in a hot spot. We're like, well, remember, what is it that you said you wanted?
Yeah, they flashed back to her and they said, like, is it okay? Or Pia's like, is it okay if, he's living at his parents' house, but he's saving up and he has the financial, the financials to move out, but he's just saving. She's like, oh, okay, then yeah, that's okay. Then they go back to her and then she's like, so. Yeah.
Checkmate.
And also, the experts ask her what she wants, or she's like, I want somebody, successful, somebody like, just there's all these different things. But basically, it's kind of a little bit of an insult to David, because it's just like, well, what do you think I am? She's like, somebody successful, somebody I can learn from, and it's like, I guess you can't do that from him.
And I'm glad the Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper, was Pia there too?
It was Pia and Pepper.
Oh, okay. Pastor Cal wasn't there.
I mean, sorry, Pia and Cal. Pia and Cal. No Pepper.
Right. So when they did call them to like define like what is, well, that's a very vague thing, because success means different things, and especially if you have different values altogether, success manifests differently. So they take a moment to define what that is. So thank goodness, like Michelle finally kind of answers that. And for her, it was financial. Like for her, it meant like financially secure, in a place where they could be independent and where they can grow from each other. So that, I mean, even though she didn't clarify that, that's what I assumed that she meant. But for him, it was different. It was connection, family, good times in life. Because he's always, before he met her, he was like always laughing and cursing, and like he was just a big personality, and you could see he's like tapered it down quite a bit, where he's trying to meet her in the middle. Like he hesitates even to include her because of how she says that she would feel, and that kind of the feedback has kind of put them in a stalemate. So it's interesting how when they go to his house. It's exactly what she expected. A basement with the ceiling was lower than I would have expected. When you hear people like living in basements, it's like I don't always have like the dank, dark dungeon vision, but the ceiling was kind of low, and like it was definitely livable. It was like she kind of described it accurately. Like a 20-year-old was living there. Like it looks like a dormitory of some kind. With sports memorabilia and just random things.
Keg stuff.
A kegerator.
Yeah, and it just like there was barely like a dining room, and then there was his bed and things like that. And she's like, so if you're hanging out with somebody, you bring a girl, like where you guys hang out? They're like, I guess we'll just
the bedroom.
Like,
we just go there.
So she was not impressed. And also, alternatively, when they went to her place. He was like, oh yeah, your place is so simple, it's basic, and she got really offended by that. She's like, I worked hard on my house or my place too.
But to be honest, he wasn't wrong.
I mean, nothing wrong with simple, like
she was just hurt by it because to her that was success. Like it was enough to to get by on, which is like kind of a double standard, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's just getting by till he has to put down for a house or whatever the situation is. And it was like a nice 1-bed, 1-bath studio, like apartment. Nothing stood out. Like all the other couples, they had like these these like skyline apartments
Yeah.
with these huge windows
Yeah.
and like leather couches, and she just had the basic stuff.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So no shade to Michelle, but I feel like David wasn't wrong to say it's simple.
Yeah.
Maybe simple is all she wanted and needed.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, and it's fine that the experts, are saying like, okay, like, just try to reframe success in attachment styles to build a stronger connection. But like Michelle seems like she wants out, so I'm just like, I don't know. You kind of maybe need to let it go at that point. But yeah, I don't know.
And she made a point of like, look at me, I'm trying.
Yeah.
When she did something like showed up
Yeah,
instead of like, yeah.
that was crazy.
So. It's kind of like, let's just see where it goes, but nothing's really developing.
I'm waiting for them to say, this is my decision day early on.
Who do you think would say it first?
Michelle.
I don't know. I think it might be David.
So, because they want that money? Or maybe
No, I think David would say it early because Michelle said all of her things already. I think David's the one that needs to like also quit.
Yeah.
Also say that, not that he should. I'm just saying that if someone does, he would probably be the one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
I hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Next couple.
MM and Ikechi.
Yeah.
All right. So MM takes the middle of the, or she's usually used to taking the middle of the bed, and that becomes a playful point of contention for them.
When she was alone, she would sleep from the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says, and Ike says, oh, you still sleep in the middle. So
yeah, so they start their conversation in the video. They're both in bed, and you can tell like she's taking like 2/3 of the bed, and he's like on his little bit here. So there's a playful bit there where they joke about it.
Yeah, and so when they go to Ike's house, he has he says, oh, it's meager, it's modern. But it's like a Peloton in there. It's like, like from the bedroom, it's like it's basically like glass where you can see like the skyline and stuff like that.
Huge open windows, yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I'm just so meager, And then they go to MM's place, and her place is really nice. It's like, 2 stories. She's got like all this nice furniture and it's
karaoke machine.
Yeah,
you could tell that she has get-togethers there. She's a social person.
Yeah, and she says her style, or what she has is intimidated men in the past, and we kind of see Ike feeling like, oh, I'm not worthy or anything like that. But I feel like that's fake. But and so that's that. That's their going to see each other's places. But when they go to have the visit from the experts, Ike talks about how, or they both talk about how they're doing so well. And then Cal is like, okay, but so have you discussed like long-term, marriage goals or things like that? They're like, oh, no, actually we haven't.
Still thinking day to day.
Yeah. And they also talked about like, oh, like, you guys have you guys been like intimate or anything like that? Not that they have to, but just like, sometimes that can show like a progression of the relationship, especially in a marriage where that kind of thing is kind of the status quo or expected. So, and he's like, nah, I go to bed at 9. I got a regiment. I go to bed at 9 p.m. And he's like, because I got to go to the gym. You don't want me to get swole, Pastor Cal? You don't want me to get swole? Or you don't want me to... And they're like, nobody's saying that you can't work out or anything like that. But they're like,
things work if you
extend it from 9 to 10, maybe, and then maybe, I don't know. They make some type of joke about hard, but anyway, but they can, maybe he can save later just a little bit, sacrifice a little bit of that to nurture their connection. And then Ike says, like, he compliments her beauty, but then he also says, you're kind of a little mechanical, and I want to see the artist in you. I want to see the art in you. He just cracks me up, because I'm just like, what are you even talking about? But I guess I get what he means by mechanical, because, like, I feel like sometimes, it's like the home, like, sort of more of the homey type of vibes. Sometimes I can relate to being mechanical, I guess. Like
I was wondering too.
Autopilot.
Autopilot?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's what it means by that, but yeah.
Well, I think that can be interpreted two ways, and I wasn't sure how he meant it with her, because she feel like she moves when he called her a homie, she was like like the homie, like she was being controlled by a ratatouille somewhere under her hat somewhere, or like she's made of just coppers and wires and all this kind of stuff. But I'm sure he also maybe meant like emotionally, because they do both kind of come from a place of like, I wouldn't say trauma, but like they're kind of guarded in some ways, which makes it look mechanical in some ways. But of all things, like I feel like he's the one that's more aware of it. But he's also the same. Like he also, I feel like he's a showman, like putting on a show, like playing this game, and it's like he's not. I don't think he can escape criticism of being mechanical either, because you could tell, especially if he's not trying to grow in intimacy. There's something mechanical, like there's something going on with him that's like maybe he needs to open up vulnerability somewhere and just grow emotionally.
This is another Austin and Becca waiting to happen, because we think that if you ever watched season 17, the crazy Colorado season, where everybody was crazy, you could, like, Austin and Becca, well, Austin really played his cards a lot better, but he was like, yeah, we're great, and like everybody thought they were the best couple and things like that, but then you slowly started to see that he never wanted to have intimacy with her, and like, I don't know, but he just played it a little more nicer. Ike is kind of, I don't know, he's
gaslighter.
He doesn't,
gaslighter.
He doesn't really want to. I can tell he just doesn't really want to do it. So we'll see. That's the point we keep harping on each week. So we'll go to the last couple, Camille and Thomas.
Still the best.
I know that other people are talking about how they were rooting for them and now they're not, but you know what? I'm still rooting for Camille and Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing more of how unfair Camille can be, though.
Yeah.
In some of the things, but we'll get into that. What is it that you like about him?
I like that they are both, I don't want to say unproblematic, but it seems like they, they are seems like they're very genuinely kind people, that they want to please the other person. I know that could, backfire, or not backfire, but I know that there is a con of that, being a people pleaser, but I also just feel like they genuinely want to try in this, experiment, even despite Camille and her, her hesitations. It seems like she still wants to, give it 100% try. So I like that about them.
Yeah. And he's learning about how he's heard it from other relationships too, where he's come across like with his lack of swag, quote unquote lack of swag. The part that was crazy for me is, so they're already like a mixed couple, like they're mixed themselves and a mixed couple. Yeah. But what she said that kind of put me maybe a little bit more suspicious of her is when she was talking to her friend. She said sometimes it felt, her sister, that it felt like it was a interracial relationship.
That was wild.
Like that he's just the white guy, she's the black wife. Which is wild, because like that's not far from, I mean, we're different mixes, of course, but it's like that's never something I would say that I feel, because like basically I feel like she's exaggerating that from some other basis of feeling disconnected. I don't think it's racial. I think she's feeling disconnected in some other way, and that's just the only way I feel like she is able to express it. What do you think?
I think that there can be pressure to, like, if she is going to choose or like, whoever she chooses, if she does choose a black guy, that then he needs to, you know, be culturally Black. And I think that could be an insecurity. I think maybe she could feel insecure, maybe not being, you know, fully Black herself, even though she immersed more in Black culture. So I think that could be kind of more of like a, like I don't want to say brownie points, but just like kind of like currency, like to feel like, oh, I'm cool because I'm with somebody who is like not just, or that is culturally Black. And so for him not to have those qualities, it's like it makes her feel less cool too. So I think it's like they're a unit together. She wants to be seen as kind of worthy in that probably includes feeling like they're, you know, enough. And in this case, it's like, you know, Blackness and like feeling like, what does that mean? And it doesn't really mean like, you know, there's so many different, you know, personalities and things that Black people can be. So it kind of sucks that she kind of feels like pigeonholed to feeling like that's the only way that, you know, Black people can be. So yeah, but I think she'll learn. Yeah, they want to go to Pepper and Cal. She talks about, you know, he's missing the swag factor. And they're like, what exactly do you mean by that? Or, you know, she wants more smoothness and things like that. And they went to like how he dresses. She's like, no, I'm fine with how like he dresses and things like that.
I guess his behavior.
Yeah.
Like how he flosses his teeth.
Yeah.
That was the only example, really.
Yeah, he flosses his teeth.
Oh, and he made light of a joke. He made it into a joke somehow where like if there was blood spewing from, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think maybe it's like
swag or smoothness.
Yeah. So maybe just like nerdiness, or I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. But like, yeah. I don't know.
Maybe the stuff off camera that we're not seeing or that they're not talking about.
Yeah. Cal talks about they're both people pleasers, which can hinder authentic expression. I think that's how sometimes, or I feel like I can relate to them too, because we could both be people pleasers. Or do you not see yourself as a people pleaser?
I think it was hard to at first, you know, because that question begs the question, like, what people? Who cares? Like, but like ultimately, there's people, no matter what position they're in, that, you know, it's easy to just always say yes, and then it's a challenge otherwise.
Yeah. Well, they urge Camille not to get stuck in wanting, you know, Thomas to change completely. I think, you know, it's these little changes, like they were saying, that's kind of like the theme of what the experts visit. Like, you know, if there's going to be changes that are beneficial, then that's fine. Don't feel afraid to do that. And when she meets her sister's kind of like, I guess I just don't know what you're talking about. Like, he seems cool to me. Like, he dresses well, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm going to have to meet him. So they're talking about the next gathering is going to be with Thomas and his friends. So she's excited to see what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. I do want to see how he interacts with the friends, and maybe she'll feel a little bit more comforted that, you know, he's just a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has a cool social life. So
that's the thing too. Like outside of, because like when they got married and then went on the honeymoon, the only chance that they got to see their spouses with other people was with other people in the same situation. But like I feel like it's revealing to see them in their on home field when they're in their own comfort zone. With their friends and stuff like that. You know, where they've invested their time and energy with friends that they care about. And I feel like to see that element of someone for the first time, I think it'll be comforting for Camille.
Yeah.
Because maybe her worry is like about him not having enough smoothness is like with other people.
Yeah.
Because for her it's awkward, but like to see that it's okay with his humor with other people, that might give her some peace, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So that
that's-
concludes.
Yeah, that concludes the episode. All the couples. Yeah, thank you for watching.
It's gonna get crazier.
Yeah,
Apparently
it will.
too.
It will. All the ads for next week just.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back. And I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Yeah. And cut.